Hello and welcome back. This is how I season pork to turn it into pulled pork. This is what they call a pork shoulder. If you go to butchers, often ask for what they call a pork Scotch fillet, and then this is basically what it is. So this is the actual shoulder part of the pork, and what we're going to do now, we're going to actually season this. And then put that in the fridge, and then that's going to be cooked a bit later on tonight, actually early in the morning. So, unlike the brisket, much easier. You have to do very little, if at all, trimming, because you can see most of the pork, it doesn't have the hard fat like the brisket does. I mean, I guess if you really want to, there's a little bit here I could take off, but really I don't want to cut myself. You really don't need to. I've taken a bit off now and again, but most of this fat, unlike brisket fat, most of this will render in fine. Okay, so what I do first is I use mustard. Any sort of mustard will do. All American mustard, like I think this is French's mustard, but Master Foods, any sort of mustard's going to do the same thing. And again, it's like a binder, so the idea is to actually put like a glue base on it. Here we go. This bottle's almost empty, but that's plenty. Anyway, so I'll put that there. So then you just rub that around. Again, you can see, suddenly my pork's become yellow. That's because it's covered in mustard. So, and you can flip it over if you want. With the brisket I did earlier, I actually seasoned it and then flipped it over, but it doesn't matter, you can do both at the same time if you want to. I'm probably going to use the last bit of this, but again, you can see you don't need a lot. There was only a few squirts and I've already covered the whole pork. So yeah, again, the idea is not to really flavour the pork. This won't flavour it at all. In fact, you can't even taste the mustard. My wife hates mustard. But I've done it with mustard all the time and she's never complained. So this is like just what they call a binder. Now, again, there's many different, you can make your own rubs up if you want to. I've never made my own up. One day I might try, but there's so many good rubs on the market at the moment and I'm just really lazy and I can't be bothered making my own rubs, but one day I might. So it's enough for actually cooking this stuff, let alone trying to make rubs for me. But anyway, so it's actually Hardcore brand again, but it's Hardcore Red. So this is actually a really good rub. I've used it on ribs as well, pork ribs. You probably can use this on brisket. This is just a good all-purpose rub. So again, we're just going to season this. And again, so you can see that nice red colour. So there's a lot of, I guess it's probably paprika in this stuff. And again, sometimes with these rubs, however, the pork, you do have to sometimes give it a bit of a shake and actually loosen it up. Again, you can be pretty liberal with this stuff as well. Now my meat too, I didn't mention this when I did my brisket earlier. But the meat, when I do it, I'll pretty much take this stuff straight out the fridge and do it. You're better off, I like to do this when the meat's cold. I don't let it get to room temperature myself. I just find it easier. It's certainly easier when you're trimming fat of something like a brisket to have it cold, because the warmer it gets, the more difficult this fat is to actually trim. This has been a real bugger, this thing, but we'll get there. Bit of a shake. There we go. You can cheat actually if it's too much, and you've got to be careful when you do this. You can actually put a little bit on here. Can you pause it for a minute?